restoring power to the community. On this episode of Aiken's Occupations, we are shining a light on our local linemen.
Whatever you have to do to get the lights back on, that's what we're going to do. And, you know, we've been out in hurricanes with the wind blowing, and just like Michael just come through a few months ago, and we was here working in 30, 40 mile an hour winds trying to get lights back up. It's very dependable. You know you got a place you can come every day and go to work. As long as you turn your lights on, I'm coming to work. I mean, you know, I love what I do. Love the guys I work with. It's a challenge sometimes, but I've seen a lot of guys doing it, and I might want to give it a try. And I've stuck with it ever since. So, been here. I was hired on in '85, so you can do the math. When I leave, it'll probably be 35, 36 years of service in the co-op. A lot of the guys that come here, some of them are green as grass. They don't even know what's going on. They don't even have a clue. We train them. We got a bunch of good guys, first-class linemen. They help them go through everything they need to learn them and to teach them the safest way to do it. There's one thing we do not tolerate is breaking safety rules and trying to go up and do something that's not safe. If you're not going to follow them rules, you will get down, and that will be an easy way out the door. So we hire a lot of guys that are experienced and good guys from different places, like contractors and other utilities that are good at what they do. But usually when a guy comes through and is 5 years after going to school and all becomes first-class lineman, you can pretty much turn them loose and let them do because they understand how to do it and know what to do.
I've been with Frankie 6 or 7 years. But sometimes people move crews and we lose people, or people go different places, and it gets shuffled around that way. But and we did when we went through our apprenticeship program. You moved a lot, because we went from crew to crew to crew to learn how everybody else does, how everybody performs their task. This is the system we use for climbing wood poles. This device right here is called a buck squeeze. This is something they come up with probably, what, Bruce, about 6 years ago?
Yeah, probably about 6 years ago.
And it's a fall device. Prior to this, there was nothing between you and the ground except for air. These are some of the tools that we use to do our day-to-day job tasks. This right here is what we call a hot hoist. We jack hot wire up with it, and it's essentially a come-along, and we'll hook it on both ends of the wire, and you can jack it up, tighten it up, sag it up with these grips. And the way this works, a piece of wire somewhere right here. Anyway, this just hooks to the wire. We hook it to each end of hot hoist. We can, in this groove here, we put the wire, that end and that end, we can jack it up. This is another form. This is for like our neutrals. That'd be like a primary. This is a neutral dead end. Same concept. It'll wrap around the wire, and it twists. It's a preform. The wire will be in the middle there, and that'll dead end the wire, and this'll hold the wire, say, coming out this way. That's like for a dead end. What'd I do with that? This is in the middle. This is where we splice wire like mid-span, like wire gets tore down.
Yeah.
We can pick it up and we can splice it, mid-span. Wish I had a piece of wire I could show you how it worked. All right. See, like, if a tree falls on the line, tears the line down, we'll have a piece, say, come out this way. We'll put that hoist here on this end, jack it up till it gets, sag. And then this little fancy thing here, the end's messed up. It can go on there just like that on both ends. And then we can come off on our hoist, and that's how we hold the, that splices the wire.
It's a lot of safety stuff. You ground your truck, cradle to cradle, you got your rubber gloves on. It's just, whenever you go up a pole from the ground to ground, you have your rubber gloves on. Unless the pole is de-energized and there's no way you can get hurt, you could use your work gloves. But any other time, you will have your rubber gloves on.
Overhead versus underground. One lineman explains the most challenging electrical lines to reach.
Well, overhead's usually pretty easy. You can see it, but then we have underground, like all the south side, like Woodside Plantation, all that, and places like Cedar Creek, it's all underground. So you can't see your problem. So we got equipment we use to find the faults on underground. Underground, it's a little more difficult because you can't see it. You have to go to either transformer, and isolate it. And we got fault locators that'll tell us, whether there's a fault on the line or it'll show you where the fault's at, like previous. You won't know see it in the ground, but you can see it on the equipment we have to. And that's a really slow process. There's 100 different scenarios and cases, and some things is easy to pick back up. Most of it is like spots, like, it may be easy to get your truck in here to pick this wire up, but sometimes it might go across a swamp. And then that's when that's where time starts coming in, and people don't understand what's taking so long.
The guys, when they get in the bucket, when it's real hot, 90s, 80s to 90s, they swap out. They'll work it for a while, then the other guy will come down, and then they'll go up and work it. Well, in the heat, it's tough on a man in the heat because if you're doing hot work all day, you're in gloves and sleeves all day, and storms, you're in pouring down rain, lightning.
But what about for women? Currently, there are 0 female line persons within the SC cooperatives. The last woman served in 1994. Whether you're male or female, the crew chief describes the job as,
This is dangerous, and due to weather and stuff like that, just be patient with us. When the lights go out, we're going to try to get you on as quick as possible. And we don't want you to be without lights no longer than we have to, and we don't want to be out there trying to get them on no longer than we have to. Usually when the guys, we're on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, everybody here. We got 2 people that's on call, but if they need help, they pick the phone up, they call us, we come. And that, we try to help them get in and out as quick as we can, because it makes for long days out in the heat. And you got people like Jaime, he's been here 16, 17 years, Josh, Bruce. Anytime the phone rings, we come in and go to work.
Thank you for tuning in to Aiken's Occupations. We'll see you next time.